What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I just got back from my locals recently. I went 3-2 with a deck that I didn't know how to play beforehand. I've been first time in 13 years that I went to play competitively, and I think 3-2 is pretty darn good because I didn't understand tier limits. There were some very interesting Ishizu tier limit decks and some crazy combinations off of them. I had an easy buy. Guy was playing Witchcrafter, and I played against a good Dark World deck. So 3-2 I feel wasn't terrible, but I have updated this deck, and I feel like I'm capable of talking about what it is, and how it's played, and so that's kind of what I wanted to do. Today I'm going to be showing you a hero deck. Now this hero deck is not necessarily, I wouldn't say it's a top tier deck for sure. That being said, I think it can beat a lot of top tier decks. Now I did play against a dude who locked me completely out, and so trap removal is a pretty big weakness to this deck. I wasn't planning on playing against traps, so traps are just kind of out of it. Hand traps are really where it's at now. So I was a little shocked that he locked me out. But that being said, we're gonna get into it. We always start off a hero deck with 3 Stratos. Stratos is your Seeker. He can get 1. He's a +1. Because you normal summon them, and then you can seek a hero, any hero, no matter what level. And sometimes it's even more helpful to use his his first effect, which is destroy spell and traps on the field, depending on how many hero monsters you have. I've been running this deck a lot with Master Duel, and Stratos, as much as he comes in for his normal, he comes in a lot for the spell and trap removal. He's very effective at that. Second, we have 3 Ferris. Ferris is easily your engine. You only need to draw 1 of them. You can draw 2, that's fine. His effect, he's one of the only cards that can actually special summon himself, which is extremely helpful. The other card that can special summon is Liquid Soldier, and Liquid Soldier can only special from the graveyard. So Vision Hero Ferris is literally your engine. From Ferris, you go and get your increase, you pop your Ferris, get increase special summoned, and then with increases effect, you can get your Shadow Mist or whatever else you want to get, depending on the situation. The next card, of course, is Shadow Mist. We run 2 Shadow Mist. I don't know if that's the limit or not anymore. I think it was semi-limited at one point. If not, it doesn't matter. Shadow Mist doesn't need to be ran more than 2 copies. Shadow Mist is not your engine, but it is literally your whole goal if you don't get a Fusion Destiny. Because when you special summon Shadow Mist, which there's a lot of ways to special summon Shadow Mist, but when you special summon Shadow Mist, you have the capability of getting a Mash Change. Mash Change gets you into Dark Law. Dark Law literally breaks every deck now, except Trap Lock. I don't know how bad that was, but Dark Law really hurts tier limits. So if you're playing a tier limit deck, Shadow Mist should be your #1 goal to get Dark Law out. We run 2 Malicious as the ban list requires. Malicious is not your engine, but it is a side engine just in case Ferris goes bad. With Denier, it's an infinite loop of Malicious. You go Cross Crusader, and I mean, you're just unstoppable. You can summon whatever you want. And this deck has no issue in summoning. That is what Elemental Heroes pride themselves on. They can flood a field if you just have 1 or 2 cards, and I mean literally 1 or 2 cards. If you started the deck out with a Fusion Destiny, you can get about 3 monsters off of that 1 card. Vion, and 1-2 Vions. Vion is your polymerization search, but he also gets rid of a card from your deck immediately. This helps you get Malicious into the grave if you already have Malicious into the grave. Your next card would be Denier, and Denier's coming next. Denier, shockingly, I don't think people thought was going to be that good when it came out, and then it came out and it made heroes a lot more viable with Malicious just being endlessly summoned. When he is normal or special summoned, you can summon a Destiny hero monster. Sorry. You can take a Destiny hero monster from your removal, your graveyard, or your deck and put it at the top of your deck. So what you would do is you would take your Malicious out of the removal, put them on the top of your deck, and then run Malicious again. And chances are, if you don't run Malicious again, you're going to be able to shuffle your deck, because this deck constantly gets used. The first two turns of yours, this deck is basically washed. I mean, you've gone through most of your cards. So Denier, great card. When it's in the grave and there's a hero, whether it be on the field or in the graveyard, you can special summon it, which just makes the process go a lot smoother. Liquid Soldier, we already talked about. Liquid Soldier gets you to bring a card back from the grave. This is really good with Shadow Mist, and there's a lot of discard opportunities, so Liquid Soldier can bring you Shadow Mist and get you Mass Change. It can also get you whoever you want. I mean, if you want to bring Denier back and help that endless loop, you can. So Dark Angel is the odd card. I have this deck is great for OTKing. This deck is also great for completely locking out your opponent, and the reason why is because of Dark Angel. Dark Angel's ability is that any spell card that goes off can go off for the cost, and then gets negated when its effect resolves. So you think of a card that makes you pay 1,000 life points. Well, you can activate it and you lose 1,000 life points, which a lot of people do because they don't read the card's effect, because no one in Yu-Gi-Oh reads. But the cool thing is it just negates it, and then it completely locks their spell card field out. We're going to be talking about all the different ways this deck just locks your opponent, but Dark Angel, you only need to run one of them, but it literally locks your opponent. Plasma's the other card that locks your opponent. If you can't get Dark Angel out, I'm sure you can get Plasma out. And Plasma basically negates all monsters. So you don't want to have it activated when Dark Angel is out, because you're negating Dark Angel. But if you have one or the other, depending on what type of deck you're going against, could be a great card. Increase, we're just running one Increase. Increase is what Ferris bases off of. This deck is really a 2 or 3 turn win type of deck. If it goes past that, you're going to have to be making up combos, which this deck can, because it has a lot of push. But Increase is just ran at 1. I prefer to run it at 2, but I think it takes away from other cards, so I'm only running at 1. Last monster card, no, just kidding. Ash Blossom, Hand Trap, we all know it, we all love it. I'm just running 1 Ash Blossom. I might put a second one in when I get a second one, but right now it's just 1. Honest Neos, it's an Honest, and it's an Honest that just gives 2,500 to a monster, and it's a pretty crazy effect. Little step, if you are running this deck, you have to wait until Honest Neos is in the damage calculation step before you want to activate it, or they can choose not to attack. So I had a guy who was a real stickler and a complete butt about it, because I didn't know the rule and he had to correct me on it. So little heads up, Honest Neos, great card, make sure you know when to use it. Now we're moving on to our traps. We run 3 Infinite Impermanents. These are the super rares. I have the ultra rares, but shockingly the super rares are worth more at this moment. Can't tell you why. But we're running 3. These are hand traps as well, but usually you don't really run them as hand traps. They just negate just about anything. And the other cool thing is if you set it first, it locks that column. So you can play around. I think it's pretty rare that a situation comes up where that's really useful, but that is what it is. Dimensional Barrier. I have yet to use this, but you declare whether it's a monster, synchro, XZ, sorry, whatever it is you want to declare, and then no one can special summon it. This hurts the deck. It's only once per turn, and it's only for the rest of the turn. So if you know the combo you're going into, but this deck just goes about through everything, so you want to activate it only on your opponent's turn. Do not ever activate it on your turn, even though as painful as Tearlaments are, you don't want to activate it on your turn. Solemn Judgment is getting kind of faded. That's my favorite Solemn Judgment. Nothing to say about it. Pay half your life points if you're using it. You probably need to use it. So, 3, a hero lives. I don't know why Solemn Judgment came before this. Hero lives, pay half your life points, special summon a hero monster, any hero monster that's level 4 or lower. No, it's elemental hero, sorry. And this is where you get Shadow Mist. So Shadow Mist comes from a hero lives. Your field does have to be clear, but if you draw into this, you are sitting pretty. You don't ever really want... you open with this. You don't really want to draw into it. Drawing into it kind of kills it. The thing that doesn't get killed is Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny, activate whenever you get it. There's a really good combo with it. I'm going to talk about when we get to the synchros and fusions. But Fusion Destiny, you discard as many Destiny heroes as you want. Special summon whatever Destiny hero fusion monster you have. It's just crazy. And then at the end of your opponent's turn, it goes away. So it's short-lived, but I'm going to be showing you what it really does. Mass Change, I'm only running 2 Mass Change. I might up that to 3. I'm not 100% sure. Mass Change really helps you get Dark Law out, but outside of Dark Law, there's not a lot of cards that you really want to summon, so I probably would keep it at 2. It's a quick effect, so if you're trying to OTK, set it, or just keep it in your hand, I guess, and when it comes time, pop it, get an extra monster, tear them up. I am running 3 Mass Change. Never mind. We are running 2 Ian Shuffles. Shuffle 1 elemental hero or Neospatial monster you control into your deck, and if you do, special summon 1 elemental hero with a different name from your deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, shuffle from your graveyard into the deck either 1 elemental hero monster or 1 Neospatial monster, or 1 elemental hero Neos, then draw 1 card. This is really good for, you're getting pretty far into the duel and you're running out of options. You draw Ian Shuffle, you can activate it and special summon an elemental hero, but when it hits the graveyard, it also has an effect that's pretty powerful. So I'm only running 2 Ian Shuffles. I have 3. It's a brand new card. I haven't really gotten to test it out yet because it just came in. But I'm going to tell you after this Saturday how good it is. So yeah, there's Ian Shuffle. I don't know if I'll be telling you after this Saturday. I don't know if I'm uploading this video immediately or how long it's going to be. The card just came out real recently, so no one's really playing it. We run 1 Polymerization. Poly is a great card, but it's searched heavily, and if you get Wonder Driver, you can just keep using it, so I just run 1. Rhoda, this is a gold rare. I just pulled, I'm not telling you what I pulled. Add 1 level 4 or lower warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Your goal typically is going to be Stratos, and then from Stratos you want to go to Ferris and then start your combo. But Rhoda can really start your whole deck. Called by the Grave, this is really just to target Tearlaments. And there's a lot of decks that kind of use the Grave and get their effects out of the Grave. Called by the Grave would be really good against this deck. But yeah, Called by the Grave, a lot of one-ofs. We got Harpy's Feather Duster, destroy all spells and traps. Foolish Burial, send one monster from your deck to the graveyard. I don't really like running Foolish. I think it's necessary, but I feel like a lot of cards do what Foolish does, so I'm not 100% sold on running Foolish. And last is Miracle Fusion. You only run one Miracle Fusion, and the reason why is because there's only one monster that really uses it. And we're going to be talking about those monsters. I don't have these in any particular order, but I will move the big boss to the front. We do have Destiny Hero, Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer. I'm only running one copy. I was running two just in case, but as I've played this deck a lot more, I've realized that DPE is not your number one target. He does have a great effect though, which is you can destroy both one card you control and one card on the field. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can activate this effect. Special one Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard. But he gets a 1/1, so you sack one, they have to destroy whichever one you choose. And that can really mess up a lot of decks. So don't get me wrong, DPE is a great card, an amazing card. I just think there are some better options. We have Escurideo. I don't know how you say his name. He just gains 100 for every elemental hero in your graveyard. You don't run a lot of elemental heroes. He's just a beat stick. But he's a convenient beat stick because a lot of your deck is dark. So just being able to sack an elemental hero and a dark monster, he's probably one of the easiest elemental heroes to summon outside of Sunrise. Dangerous, a Destiny Hero effect monster and one dark monster. This is really just to help you set up into DPE or Dominance or whoever you want. You can discard one card, send one Destiny Hero monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, monsters gain 200 attack. You use this to get malicious, and it works really well. Dominance. I think Dominance is the number one option for Fusion Destiny. And the reason why is because if you get Dominance, then you have 3 Destiny Hero monsters in your graveyard. You should have chose Plasma, Malicious, and Denier. And then you can seek out Dark Angel, lock them on spell and trap, and then get, if you can, try to get Shadow Mist out so that you can mash change. And then with Dark Law and Dark Angel, you have locked up their spell zone, their spell and trap zone, as well as their graveyard. And Dark Law's effect, we're about to get into Dark Law. Abyss Dweller, this is to stop Tearlaments. You can detach one XYZ from this card. Any card effects that activate in your opponent's graveyard cannot be activated this turn. If you get him out, and it's either player's turn, so as soon as they draw, sorry if I hit that mic, as soon as you draw, you activate it, lock them up for the turn. Abyss Dweller is great. Masked Hero Dark Law, his effect, once per turn, if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand outside of the draw phase or the damage step, you can banish one random card from your opponent's hand. You don't know how bad that locks people up, especially on Masters. We have Dread Decimator. He is just your big beat stick. He's the one outside of Escurideo that you really want to go into and just kind of beat him down. I've seen this card get upwards of 4,000 easily. This card, and also any hero that it points to, gains 100 attack for each card with different names in the graveyard. And so when you get him stacked with Sunrise, I mean, you just have a monster. You have multiple monsters, because if he's pointing to Sunrise, he also gains it. Trinity, I run one Trinity, and Trinity is very necessary for clearing a board. And he's very helpful in your OTK. If you can tell that your opponent, or you have ran through your opponent's their hand traps or their spell and traps, and they just have big monsters, throw out Trinity, run through them. And so he doubles his attack for the turn he's summoned, and so he's a 5,000 beat stick that can attack 3 times, which he's just crazy. Crazy underused. Darklaw, second one, out of order. Sorry about that. Great card. Masked Hero Blast. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can pay 500 life points and target one or spell trap. Return it to the hand. Pretty helpful. Very helpful, depending on what you're dealing with. Now, the thing with Mask Change that I've just realized recently is that the Mask Change has to be with the attribute. So, Masked Hero Blast is a wind monster, so the only card that can actually get you Blast is Stratus. Still a great card though. Wonder Driver, any card at the time a card is special summoned, you can just get a Polymerization or a Fusion spell or a Change card. It's just a crazy good card. Resets your whole deck. Acid, destroy as many spells and traps as possible, and if you do, all monsters they control lose 300 attack. It's only when it's summoned, but it can wipe a field really quickly. Absolute Hero can only be used with Liquid Soldier. With Liquid Soldier, this card gains 500 attack per water monster, so you don't really want to use this outside of the fact that when it's destroyed, you destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So this card is helpful, but it's not the first fusion monster you really want to summon. Last but not least is the guy just kidding. Cross Crusader, great card. He really helps your Destiny Hero combo. As soon as Denier and or Malicious are in the grave, Cross Crusader can bring one back and pop it in the same turn. And when it's popped, you can just get any elemental or any hero from your deck. So he is basically a Stratos that can happen every turn, and you're playing with cards that can come back every turn and do the same thing over. So it's just a recycle. Great card. Sunrise has 2 effects. When it's special summoned, you can go get Miracle Fusion. He's the one card that really needs Miracle Fusion. That's why you only run one. And when this card, or when an attack is declared involving another hero monster you control, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. I almost won one of my matches that I lost because my opponent thought that Sunrise got to pop off, and I knew the text, and I was like, that's not the rule. I wish I kind of would have slid in there and said, no, you're right. Let's blow up Rukalos. But so Sunrise is a great card. With him, Darklaw, and Dark Angel on the other side of the field, you have completely locked up their whole zone. But yeah, that's the deck. Don't have much else to say. I think this is a great deck. I think it has some weaknesses. It doesn't do a lot with spells and traps. So if your opponent's running a lot of spells and traps, you're either going to have to go into a blast, which going into a specific hero can sometimes, an elemental hero anyway, can be challenging. I think it's worth it if you can get it, but that's not always the easiest thing. So spells and traps can be a huge weakness, and that is why the extra deck is so important. If you see your opponent's running some crazy stuff, this is what I run. I run 3 ghost spells. So anytime a card from the graveyard to the hand, deck, or extra deck, special summon a monster card from the graveyard or banish a card from the graveyard, you can negate it. So pretty great effects. Of course, 3 DD Crows. I have a rare DD Crow first edition, which this one's like $10 or $11, and this one's like 87 cents. You can discard the card and then target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish that card. Really helpful with tier limits. Skullmeister. When a card effect is activated in your opponent's graveyard, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and negate that effect. It is literally DD Crow. Rivalry of Warlords. This is basically to make sure your opponent never does too much with too many attributes and to kind of lock them down. We have triple tactics talents twice, and then a lightning storm to kind of clear up the board. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this hero deck profile. If you like this and you want to see more content of this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Peace!